little too much on the lights. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Where are my educators? They usually know what to do. They start, Michelle did it too. They start clapping their hands. Good morning. I'm Nan Morrison. I'm the president and CEO of the Council for Economic Education. And I have to say, I am shaking. I am so thrilled to be standing in front of actual people. This is, you can actually touch them, and well, we're not being good about that. But this is our first live event since February 2020. We had a big one in Washington, and it is so nice to see so many people, and thank you so much for being thoughtful about all of the protocols that we took so that we could all be here together safely. We are also, for the first time, streaming this event as well as having it live. So I don't know where that camera is, but welcome, oops, there you are. Welcome and hello to everybody that's joining us virtually. We're thrilled to have you with us. You're missing a really nice breakfast, but we're still happy to have you. I want to thank the boards of CE and IIG for all of their work to make this success, for our event chair, who is here with us today. We're so happy to see her, Michelle Hicks, and the person who really brought it all together for us, Shannon Taylor, the Director of Development for our Invest in Girls program. So please give a big hand to all of those wonderful people. So before we hear from a lot of those folks, from our executive director, from our extraordinary speaker, Michelle Singletary, from some of our students who are here with us, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the overall organization, CEE, what we do and why it counts, and why IIG is so important to our overall mission. All of you who are here today understand that financial and economic knowledge is important. You understand the leverage that it gives us. But we're among a small percentage. We don't enter a bank or a banking relationship ashamed or afraid of being shamed. We aren't underbanked or underleveraged. We aren't intimidated by what we don't know because our baseline knowledge makes it possible to differentiate a sales pitch from a sound investment. Although I think I have to put crypto in a separate category around that one. We know how to negotiate and we know our worth. Our knowledge usually gives us a sense of balance and control. But for too many of our kids and the families that we work with, this is not the case. They don't have the knowledge, vocabulary, or access. We were talking about that a little bit this morning. And the School of Hard Knocks, well, that just doesn't really cut it. Knowledge lifts burdens, and the kids find it enormously exciting to learn about the real world and how to survive and thrive in it. I'm looking, they're smiling. For 70 years now, we here at CE have sought to bridge this gap and bring economic and financial education to all of our kids. 70 years ago, we wrote textbooks for grades K to 12 because there were none in these subjects. Today, of course, we host a digital platform, EconEdLink, which provides everything that teachers need, and to teach these subjects, whether it's in children's literature or algebra. We run the National Personal Finance and Economics Challenges to help our kids put knowledge into action and build critical thinking skills. And today, we're also zeroing in on eliminating opportunity gaps by focusing our efforts on low and moderate income communities. We call them access zones. And this is where the Invest in Girls program comes in, bringing access to young women from marginalized communities who might never meet or talk to women and a few good men like us, if not for this program. The goal of all of our programming efforts, in short, to give our kids a roadmap to the fruitful plain. One of our wonderful leaders who helps us make this happen is IIG's Executive Director, Betsy Kelder, who just celebrated, literally just days ago, her 5th anniversary with Invest in Girls. She brings so much passion and energy to everything she does, and fortunately for us, to this program. So I will now turn this over to her. Please welcome Betsy.
Thank you for the introduction, Nan, and for telling everyone a little bit more about CEE. And I would like to add my thanks to all of you for joining us today, both in person and virtually. I certainly would be remiss if I didn't comment on the fact that some of us are able to be together outside of a square on a computer screen. You all have legs. I'm not wearing my traditional Zoom mullet, you know, business on top, party on the bottom. It's really fantastic. I'm thrilled to see you all. The IIG community that we have been building is such an important part of our program. So to be able to come together feels really incredible. So let's start with some inspiration. Right now we have a problem in the financial services industry. Executive committees are only 16% female, boards are only 20% female, and we know that the population is half women, and we need more women voices at the table. And the downstream effect of not having women voices at the table right now is that girls and women are opting out, and we want to change that.
The story of how Invest in Girls got founded was really a story about the power of women coming together to really make a difference.
Who here has gotten $20 on Monday and then by Thursday have no idea what they did with it?
So our workshops are really the core foundation of how we start our work with the girls. So we're able to meet girls in a variety of different ways and give them this baseline of knowledge.
We're gonna figure out what your money personality is. I walked out and had groups of kids in the corner arguing about bonds. And that's not a conversation I feel that would have happened in any other class.
And sometimes you don't even know what you want to know because it's never been introduced to you ever. So having someone come in and explain to you the world of finance and how money works is really important for people to know so that they're not just spending their money however they want.
Thank you for coming, and I'm really happy you're here.
We do have a one-on-one mentoring relationship. It's really about connecting women who are in the industry with girls who are interested in the industry.
They get the ability to really get a sense of what is finance, what is it about at a very, very early age.
We do an industry trip and we actually bring them usually to a financial services firm. And the idea here is to really demystify what goes on in these tall office buildings.
Before I wanted to major in political science. After encountering Invest in Girls, I changed my path. I want to do business and finance.
But really being able to give girls the baseline where they can have that confidence and stability, I think is really rewarding. It's fun to watch them get a concept that they never thought they would be interested in. It's fun to see them interacting with each other and talking about important things that maybe no one's ever talked to them about.
I think it's important because I think it's going to change the landscape of the next generation of women in finance.
You know, this is the beginning of the pipeline, but if you think about it, you know, these girls are in high school. In 5 years, they'll be out of college. You know, it's like really quick before they're ready to work in the workplace. And so the impact could happen much quicker than we expect.
I love that video. When we were last in person here in Boston, it was April 2019. We were 2 months away from finalizing our merger with the Council for Economic Education. We were poised for our next step, and we were in the final months of our successful $1 million generational change campaign. We were predicting growth and the expansion of IIG. A lot has happened since then in the world and with CEE and IIG. Importantly, we have been delivering on our goal to grow across the country and reach more girls to help them build their financial skills and confidence. The merger is now 2 years old. We're comfortably settled in as a program of CEE, and we have seen incredible growth in our programs and the number of girls that we're educating. Last year, despite teaching virtually, we increased the number of partners we worked with and, therefore, the number of girls we served. How? During the summer of 2020, we prepared our curriculum for virtual instruction. As many of you likely know, teaching virtually is not as easy as just doing what you do in the classroom on Zoom. We had to adjust everything, from the platform we use to our lesson content. And our corporate partners stepped up. Volunteerism was up exponentially, and funding rose as well. Many of you are in the room today, and we thank you. We were able to teach over 1,300 girls last year. These students were in 23 states and 4 countries. They participated in our many different program offerings. They were part of Financial Foundations, the core financial literacy. They helped us launch our newest program, Exploring Finance, a career access program that allows young women to take a deep dive into the finance industry to understand careers. And they enrolled in our one-on-one mentoring program. We have solidified a 3-year roadmap. We believe that in 3 years, we can be educating 1,500 girls through Financial Foundations, 1,000 girls in Exploring Finance, and we look to connect 300 mentor pairs. These are ambitious goals, and I believe in our ability to achieve them. We have an incredible staff, and we're hiring, so if you know anyone, let us know, to bring additional staff who will help us build our talent and our capacity. We're leveraging the girls who participate in CEE's National Personal Finance and National Economics Challenges, and we're bringing them into our ecosystem as well. Reaching these goals will be amazing, and they will change the course of thousands of girls' lives if we do it right. We're doing it right. Girls' self-efficacy in the content we teach and interest in careers in finance both increase over 200% from the beginning to the end of our programs. In our longitudinal study, college women are reporting on the importance of the lessons they have learned in budgeting and credit cards. And nothing says it better than these comments from our 2 alums. I told my parents about it. I was like, why didn't you ever tell me about this kind of stuff? They were like, oh, you shouldn't have to worry about it. But no, I should worry about it because I'm getting older and I have to learn how to be independent. Before, I thought finance was like this big confusing thing, but now it's just something that everybody has to think about. And I'm just hoping you guys keep this program alive and teach other young women, any color, any race, about being a businesswoman. Please put more programs in cities and more places. There are kids out there that really want to learn. It would be very helpful for them. Thank you all for helping us share the foundational aspects of finance with thousands of girls across the country, for helping us to truly thrive and expand our ability to teach young girls of any color and any race about being a businesswoman. Okay, I lied. There is one way to say it better than those 2 quotes. You can hear directly from our students. I am delighted to introduce to you Tiana and Eliana. These young women are juniors at Fenway High School here in Boston. Last year, they participated in our Financial Foundations and became the CFO of their lives. Tiana went on to an internship with one of our advisors, Diana Duarte Pena, who you'll hear from later, who works at Eastern Bank. Eliana and Tiana.
Thank you everyone for joining us this morning for the Investing Girls Champions of Financial Literacy Breakfast. My name is Tiana Antoine, and I'm currently a junior at Fenway High School. I first crossed paths with Investing Girls through an elective course at my school. Financial literacy is very important to me as a young woman of color. I see it as a way to obtain the knowledge and skills I need to manage my money efficiently. Without these skills, I feel like I would lack a solid foundation for success. Investing Girls helped me learn and understand that I can succeed by exposing me to so many things I didn't know about finance. Investing Girls also helped me get connected to so many opportunities, like the mentorship program that helped me explore different career paths in finance, and also they helped me get connected with Eastern Bank, and with an amazing internship. I'm very interested in entrepreneurship. With all the help I've gotten from Investing Girls, I feel like I have the knowledge of financial literacy to help me move forward. I will always be eternally grateful for Investing Girls for exposing me to so much about the financial world. Now I will pass it on to my dear friend, Eliana Rivas, a fellow Investing Girls student at Fenway High School, who will introduce our speaker and share a few words.
Today I'm here to introduce Michelle Singletary, and she is a nationally syndicated personal finance columnist for the Washington Post. Her award-winning column, The Color of Money, is carried in dozens of newspapers nationwide. She is the author of 3 books that have been on television as both the host of her own shows, Singletary Says, and Spend Well, Live Rich with Michelle Singletary, and as a regular financial contributor on CNN. She has prepared personal finance segments for local and national news programs and for several cable and nationally syndicated programs, including Oprah and NBC's Today Show, The Early Show on CBS, and MSNBC and The View. She has also appeared on the Meet the Press. Ms. Singletary is also a regular contributor to National Public Radio. Beyond her work in the media, Ms. Singletary is committed to community service. She volunteers as the director of the Prosperity Partners Ministry, a financial program she founded at her church, in which women and men who handle their money well mentor others who are having financial challenges. Ms. Singletary and her husband also volunteer in Maryland prisons to teach financial literacy to male and female prison inmates involved in the pre-release program. I joined in the Investing Girls program because I've always been around people in finance. My parents are both in finance, and I believe that I'm very privileged to that compared to other students who are not. However, since they believe that, since they are in the finance world, they believe that because of that, I knew about finance, that I knew how to read a W-2 form or even understand how to read a bank statement, but I didn't. The only reason why I learned how to do those things is while being in the Investing Girls program. So now, we are honored that Ms. Singletary has agreed to make her first appearance since March 2020 with us. So now we will have the fire chat and with Ms. Betsy Kettler, who you just heard from, and Ms. Michelle Singletary.
Welcome, Michelle.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are really honored to have you. I have to tell you that we were excited to ask you to speak because one of our board members, and in fact the chair of this event, Michelle Hicks, another Michelle, it gets very confusing, heard you on GBH almost a year ago and said, I have the perfect speaker for us. So we are just thrilled to have you with us. I'd love to start just letting everyone understand, why are you passionate about financial literacy? How did this come about for you?
Yeah, so good morning, everybody. It's so honored to be here, and it's definitely weird to be with like real people, like not my dog sitting underneath my foot. So, I grew up in Baltimore, and my parents had some challenges, and I ended up with my grandmother, Big Mama. If you read my column, I talk about her quite often. And she was just an amazing money manager. My grandfather had some alcoholism issues, so often he didn't bring his paycheck home. And so with all of that, a husband who was an alcoholic, 5 grandchildren she took in, 5 of us. My sister was 8, I was 4, a sister who was 3, and twin brothers just about under 2 years old. But I watched her manage her money in a way that even today, I'm just in awe. I mean, if my grandmother held a penny, Lincoln would scream. She was like amazing. And I took a lot of that on me. So I became Big Mama to my friends, even to my siblings. If they borrowed money from me, it's like, okay, it's Tuesday, where is my money? And, so I learned that, and I was helping friends, and then I got a job at the Post writing about business. and talking to my editors about all the cheap things my grandmother taught me. And I wanted to be like her. I wanted to have financial control, even in the chaos of our lives. My grandmother paid all her bills on time. She just was so amazing. And she also taught us how to be satisfied with what we had. The thing I admired about my grandmother, she never apologized for what she couldn't give us. Now, as a child, of course, you know, I'm rolling my eyes and thinking, wait till this old lady get old. She gonna get it back. You know? But what I also realized is that my grandmother could only take me but so far. And that's where the financial industry comes into play, because I took on all of her conservative financial values. She grew up in the Great Depression. And so because of that, I could save like she could save, right? I even married a man who was cheap. Sexy, just. But both of us, coming from similar backgrounds, had to learn to grow our money. And so that's why I want to give to others what my grandmother gave to me, which was financial stability, right? I mean, I handle since I was like a little person, I handled my money like I had a full-time job. Yeah. And I wanted to give that to other people. And it's so important because when you are financially stable, your life is so different. And particularly as minorities, we already, don't have the same jobs, don't have the same pay, don't have the same financial history. And so overcoming all of that and all the things that you have to do normally was something that I just wanted to give back. So this program for me, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like a whole bunch of big mamas, and they will be so better for it. And so anyway, it's a long answer.
No, it's an excellent answer. I'm curious because you said, you sort of even became the one amongst your siblings. Was there something about you and your relationship with your grandmother that you feel like it stuck more with you? Did they take any of the...
No. They're much better now because I've worked on them over years. But I was just a little big mama, and there was just some things that I just took to right away. How she paid her bills, how she watched things, and also just her ability to say no to herself or to us and never feel deprived. And I do that now, even with my own kids. Can I tell y'all a story? I love telling stories. I know we got a little short time. But so we have 3 children, and we have all these rules in our house about money. And so one of the rules was that, if you ask for stuff, we would say to them, I have 2 words for you, college fund. So my oldest was like maybe 8, and she was asking for something. And so when my kids ask for something, all I hear is Charlie Brown's Teacher. Remember? She's like, wah, 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 you never heard. So that's all I hear. That's how I can say no to them because I don't know what they're asking. And so she was like, Mom, can I have it? I said, no, 2 words for you, college fund. Mommy, please, all my friends have it. 2 words for you, college fund. So this went on for about 10 or 15 minutes. You see why I say for my own retirement? Because, they're going to put me in a home for sure. So, can I have 2 words for you, college fund, college fund? And so finally she stomped her little feet and she looked at me and she says, well, I have 2 words for you. I know, wait for it. She says, nursing home. But they are like the spitting image of me. Yeah. And so, and I love it. They're so cheap. I love it. And so my goal is to take what I learned from my grandmother and push them further like someone pushed me. Yeah. It was a financial person. Now, we had a financial planner, and he was a white guy. Can I just say that? Can I just be real? Absolutely. And, it's okay. He was good. He was trying, but, didn't speak the lingo, didn't understand my Big Mama stories, didn't laugh at all my stories. Had a problem with that. And so then he moved on, and I got a African-American financial planner, and she changed my life. She pushed me further than my grandmother could. She looked at my 401k, and I know, do not gasp, all bonds in my 20s. It was crazy. Because, I mean, I didn't learn anything from my grandmother. My grandmother didn't even like CDs was risky to her. The only bond she had was the bond adhesive for her dentures. And so she looked at my 401k and she said, what's going on here, girl? What is wrong with you? And she could speak to me that way. And I said, no, I gotta make sure my money doesn't go anywhere. Well, she said, it's not gonna go anywhere. And so she encouraged me to diversify and get, more into equities and, get the right insurance and set up college funds for our kids. And 20-some years ago, because I'm a pack rat, I kept the financial analysis she did for my husband and I, about this thick. And I pulled it out, and we did everything she told us to do. And I still had her cell phone number, and I texted her, and I said, thank you. My husband and I, now don't y'all tweet this, or this is just between us and here and at home. Don't pass this on. I don't want nobody to know I got no money. But my husband and I are multimillionaires because of what she taught us, this African-American financial planner. Nobody else could do that. While we also, by the way, tithe. So we give 10% of our income gross every year to our church and charities. So even doing that, and it was because of her and her understanding my culture, and my understanding, and she didn't blink an eye when we said that we were gonna tithe. And she just set it up. She knew how to talk to me. And it is literally because of her that we are positioned well, not just for me, but for my siblings who, I told you are trifling. So we are, but they aren't anymore. My brother's a homeowner, my sister's a homeowner, and it's because of all of that I learned from my grandmother and this financial planner.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. So she was clearly such a change maker in your life. And I think you make an interesting point that, it's the same way, as a woman, I like having a woman doctor, right?
Yeah.
So now we're faced with, the landscape of such a small representation of women, but even smaller when you look at women of color.
Yeah.
How do we, how do you think we talk with people and get them excited about that? Is it, we do a lot of just exposing the girls to it, right? Hey, we say finance, we don't actually just mean an accountant,
That's right.
But, what have you seen sort of speak to people and get them not just interested for themselves, but also in that idea of paying it forward?
The key is relationships. The program I run at my church, it's a year-long program. So we meet once a month, and pre-COVID in person, but now virtually, for 2 or 3 hours. Now, if you're a Baptist, that's just like nothing. That's a Sunday service. But we meet every month, and I tell you, even at the 3 hours, we could still another couple of hours. And we match them up with people who have walked their path, who understand what it's like to be in debt or not have enough money or make really bad financial choices. And we talk about that. So every month we're meeting, we're talking, we're building relationships. So I can fuss at people. I can say, what are you doing? Why are you? Just this Sunday, my husband and I also teach a marriage and money class, and a couple of the people in the class are government workers in the TSP program. That's the Thrift Savings Plan, which is the equivalent of 401k. And she's like, all her money in the G Fund. Now, some of y'all probably don't know what that is, but that's like the ball. That's like the CD. Actually, it's not even like a CD now. And so I was like, what are you doing? And so you can fuss and push. And that's what you have to do with the girls. Internships, I love your story about your parents knowing about money, they didn't teach you nothing. It's gonna happen through osmosis, And so the companies, internships, year-long relationships with the girls, having them come in and sit in meetings and jobs, where you actually pay them. I got a full scholarship to study journalism from the Baltimore Sun, and And part of the scholarship included paid summer internships all 4 years while I was in college. Now, you would think a full scholarship is enough. They gave me money for tuition and room and board and books. But I needed money to live. My grandmother was great with money, but if you can imagine 5 grandchildren, an alcoholic husband, there wasn't a lot of extra. So I sent money home. And so those summer jobs not only exposed me to journalism, but it gave me money to help me stay in college. It's not enough for just by scholarships. And I had relationships with people in the newsroom who helped me and guided me. When I wanted to study abroad, there was a newspaper person who said, hey, I've done this before, here's how you do that. So that's how you cultivate them. You have relationships with them, and not just one workshop where you bring them in for a day. You bring them in constantly. You get into their lives. You hear their stories. You understand what's going on in their homes. And that really just helped me as well, being in the newsroom. And that's what you can do to help these girls, not just only understand finance, but change their lives and the financial legacy of their lives. My wealth, my knowledge has helped my extended family. It took a while because I said they trifling, but it happened. And so all of those around me in my lives are doing better because of that full internship that brought me into the newsroom regularly.
Yeah. What do you think we as people who understand finance and are more financially secure can do to help bring some of that to students? You know, Shannon Taylor, who works with Invest in Girls and is responsible for a lot of this, so we love Shannon. You know, she talks a lot about how those in her community really don't trust banks. And I'm curious to hear your perspective on that and sort of where maybe at an even larger level, you know, obviously there's one-on-one relationships that will help with that, but is there a way, do you think, that we can start building that trust more broadly?
I think you go where people are. Why do I have this program in my church? Because that's where my people are. That's, you know, they trust the church. They go there every Sunday. They go for different programs. You know, we took the financial literacy program into the prisons. We didn't wait for them to come out. My husband and I go into the institutions. So you have to go where the people are. And not just form a relationship with the girls, but with their families. You know, when you have workshops, invite the parents in, those who can attend. You gotta get into people's business. Because you know, when you know what's going on with them, the money lessons take on a different tone. You know, we talk at people, but not with people. Do you know what I mean by that? We have workshops and we throw out these terms and we think we've done a great job. And then people for that day, yeah. And then they go home.
Yeah, I also think we do a lot of talking about money like it's any other subject, like biology or, you know, math or what have you. And it's really deeply personal.
It's very personal and very crazy, and we bring so much financial baggage into our lives. This is why I love doing the column that I do and the way I write. I really love talking about like the money class we teach with couples. You know, it's a 10 or 12-week program, depending on the time of the year. And for half of the class, we don't even talk about budgeting and investing. We're talking about, why do you spend the way you spend? How did you end up with this person who's your money opposite? We do the same thing in Prosperity Partners. The first several sessions, we don't talk about anything financial. We talk about the sense of entitlement. Why do you spend the way you spend? I mean, you heard how I grew up. So I could have been a spender because, you know, we didn't have a lot. And I could have gone out and said, oh, no, now that I have money, I want to have all this stuff, you know, but because of the way I was taught with my grandmother and programs that I was exposed to, you know, I keep my cars for 10, 15, 20 years until I am on a first name basis with the local tow truck drivers. You see my car, you would not know that I have the money I have, and I don't care. Ask me if I care. Don't care. I don't drive away my wealth.
So there has to have been a splurge.
A splurge? Let me think.
When, you know, there has to have been a time that you're like, oh, this is...
There is. I have multiple Scrabble dictionaries. Wasteful, really.
Really wasteful.
I just, when you come, oh man, we do like to travel. That's probably where we splurge the most. But this is how we splurge. We splurge by saving for our retirement so that our kids don't have to worry about that. We splurge by saving for them to go to college. So none of my children, they're all in their 20s. My oldest is through college and graduate school, no debt. My son, who has autism, who had to spend extra time in college, no debt. He's about to go to graduate school, no debt. My youngest is studying to be a teacher, no debt. That's how we splurge. We give, that's how we splurge. We give the programs like this. That's, for me, that is splurging. That's what you should be doing with your money. That's why we do what we do, because you've got to pay it forward. So no, if you have me back next year, I'll probably have the same outfit on. And don't you dare say, I remember that jacket. Google me, same outfits, because that doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Wealth is about building something that is gonna last. And that's what I try to teach people and the students. And there's so much pressure to spend and to keep up and to do better. And I just think that financial security is the answer. And so I'm not worried about what I wear, the kind of cars I drive. I do, like I said, have a collection of Scrabble boards and dictionaries, which I'm shameful about.
Well, we have to have one to match every season.
Yeah, I like the big board, the travel board, but nobody likes to play with me anymore because I'm really bad with winning. I do a little dance and they don't like that.
Yeah, well, my mother is actually over there and she's a pretty good Scrabble player.
Really?
Maybe you'll play with her sometime.
Oh, hey, yeah, I get all excited about that. But
I won't play with her.
I know, my husband won't play with me either, because he doesn't like that I know every 2 words.
Yeah, she just knows more words than I do.
Yeah, those 2 words, right, Mom? Yeah, it'll kill her. I crushed my husband one time with just 2 words. He just I'm done with you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, this has been just so lovely to get to talk with you. I feel like we could keep going on for
me too.
forever.
I love to talk about money.
And I'm just so glad that you came and shared your story with us. I'd love to hear, just sort of final thoughts on, what we can all be doing to support wealth creation and financial knowledge. I think that's such an important place for it to start.
Well, obviously what you're doing here, and again, consistency, longevity, building relationships as you teach these girls, bring them into your offices, have relationships with, get to know them, get to know their families, and just build a system. Have fun with money. You can see that I love talking about money. I love telling stories. We got to make money fun. It seems just so out there for so many people. And so we do all kinds of things in the program to engage people. We did a whole Matrix theme where I dressed up as Morpheus, and we did get rid of debt. You know how he did and one year we did Wakanda, and we talked about wealth building in the African American community. So we do, we played musical chairs. We just turned it into musical bills. And we try to make it engaging, entertaining and engaging and informative. And you will capture them. And so if I could just say, the important thing is to build relationships that are years long, and that's what will make a difference, I think. Because what you're doing right now is so important. Wealth building, wealth knowledge. This financial literacy is like rocket science. It is complicated. 401k, 403b, bonds, stocks, equities, and now cryptocurrency. What the what? And so people are getting a lot of misinformation. But if you get one girl, you have gotten many individuals, and you will change the trajectory of people's lives with this financial knowledge. I know it did for me. And that's why I try to give back, because I want everybody to have the joy of not worrying about paying bills, of sending their kids to college debt-free or being debt-free themselves, and having an old car that people walk by and go, tis, tis, tis. And as they walk by, go, because I might got more money than you.
Michelle, thank you so
You're
much for
welcome.
taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you.
Your passion for the work is just contagious, and your interest in helping others gain knowledge to take control of their lives and financial futures is in just such great alignment, not just with Invest in Girls, but with CEE more broadly as well. And we're just honored that you made your first in-person appearance with us today.
No sweats or anything.
I know. So now I want to introduce our next speaker, Diana Duarte Peña. When I tell you that this woman is going places and is going to have a huge impact on the world, I mean it. Diana is a force, and we are lucky to have her as an advisor of IIG. She was raised in Central Mass by Uruguayan immigrants who inspired her to be scrappy, optimistic, and learn to go far with the tools she had. And you're gonna see her on screen because she is actually visiting her family in Uruguay. Her professional focus is on innovation and fintech. She currently serves as Vice President and Product Development Manager on Eastern Bank's Labs team. Prior to Eastern, she worked in innovation at State Street Corporation and graduated from Tufts University. As a Latina from a family of dreamers and whose family never felt comfortable discussing money, Diana is passionate about introducing financial literacy, technology, and entrepreneurship to young girls, especially from minority backgrounds. It's why she also leads the Latinx Professional Network at Eastern Bank and serves on the board of IIG as well as OneBead.
Hi everyone, my name is Diana Duarte Peña, and I am a very proud board advisor and volunteer for Invest in Girls. I'm here to talk to you guys about three things. The first is why I am in love with Invest in Girls and why I see myself volunteering with them for the next 10, 20 years easily. The second is I'm going to share a personal story about a girl who was deeply touched by Invest in Girls' work, who is very close to me in my life, and she represents a lot of what Invest in Girls does and opens up for girls. And the third is to invite you guys to help us by raising $25,000 today to create more opportunities that are catalysts for girls to be financially secure and confident. So as I mentioned, my name is Diana Duarte Peña, and I grew up in a part of Central Mass that is really not that diverse, but because my family was so eager to be around other Latinos and because it was just very much important to our mental health and just overall happiness and well-being, we spent a lot of time in this Latin American microcosm of sorts that our family created. And growing up, two things that we didn't really talk about because we didn't have them were money and documentation. So going into things like college and beyond, I decided to major in international relations and economics. And you would think that I would have known things about how to manage my own finances, but that just wasn't the case. When I was 25 years old, I started working on trying to figure out how I could retire my parents and how I could live a financially calm life. I felt like I had made it, right? But I still felt stressed out about, how do I retire my parents? How do I retire myself? And I don't even think I can do that. And in the midst of this emotional whirlwind, I actually did a lot of Googling and found a Black and a Latina social media influencer that focused on financial literacy. And I learned so much. The difference that made is that they really broke things down in ways that I could understand and were people who I could look at and say, they get me, right? And I was moving back to Boston at the time, and I said, you know what? I need to get more involved in financial literacy initiatives, right? Because it's huge. And the fact that someone like me didn't understand a lot of what I should have, it was a really big deal. And that's actually how I found Invest in Girls and Betsy Kelder. I met the team, fell in love with their programs because of the emotional focus and the focus on girls and just the really robust programs that they have. So it's been since 2018, so now 3 years since I've been involved with Invest in Girls, and I've seen them change so many girls' lives, and I don't say that lightly. And the reason that I don't is because I'm going to share with you guys a personal story. So for me, I have cousins who are still undocumented and who live pretty financially precarious lives. I have a young cousin who is 15 years old. She is the apple of my eye in a lot of ways, and I really try to motivate her and try to make her feel happy and confident and optimistic, but it's hard for somebody in her circumstance. When the pandemic hit, I knew that Invest in Girls was starting to offer virtual sessions, and I said, hey, you really need to come on, you really need to join these. I promise you the team is so nice and they're so just easy to talk to, and you're really going to learn some things that are important. And to be quite honest, she was very reluctant, right? She's someone who she's like, I don't want to talk about money, prima. Like, that's awkward. And what am I going to say? And are they going to look at me? Are they going to look at my background funny? Because she lives in a very small apartment. And I really just encouraged her to trust me. And when I say that what happened next was really emotional for me, I'm speaking from my heart. So she called me and she was so happy. And to hear a girl who is so tends to be pessimistic with reason, right? But actually excited about things like money and telling me, prima, they taught me about stocks. Like, do you know what stocks are? Right? And just saying that she was motivated by the session gave me goosebumps. And she actually ended up joining more virtual sessions after that. And I think that that's really symbolic of what Invest in Girls does and can do for not just one girl, right, but for communities. And we all know that girls can definitely be more financially confident and secure. And this is especially true when you think about Black and Latino and immigrant girls. So truly, just from the bottom of my heart, Invest in Girls, you are making a difference that is so important. And that's why I'm inviting all of you to really join us in our mission of raising at least $25,000 today. You are going to get some instructions after this video on telling you how you can do that. You know, you guys have some envelopes in front of you. Please donate what you can. Please spread the word, because again, this is really going to change and shape communities and whole women's lives, right? I used to be a girl, right? It's no secret. I wish that I had Invest in Girls growing up, and I know that there are a lot of girls who are out there who could benefit, and I don't want them to say that they wish they had Invest in Girls. I want them to have it. So please help us raise $25,000, spread the word. Thank you all for being here and for embracing this opportunity, and let's help these girls together. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So glad to see you today. My name is Shannon Taylor. I'm the Director of Development for Invest in Girls. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Give yourselves a hand for coming out early in the morning. Thank you for those who are watching live stream. Good morning, hi. As Diana just stated, our goal today is to raise $25,000. $25,000. There's a QR code on your screen. In addition, you have envelopes in front of you to actually put a gift in. Donate to an organization that's impacting a generation. But not just this generation, it's impacting generations to come. What I understand is that knowledge is wealth. We always say, it's cliche to say it's power, but it's also wealth. If I know, then I can pass it to the next generation, and we can have a whole lot of big mamas, right? In the next generation, in this generation, and in the next. Listen, I'm sure that many of us wish we had the IIG programs in our schools, in our communities, in our community organizations. And as I was actually thinking about Invest in Girls, and I'm going to try to do this without crying. This is hard. But I realized that I'm that girl. I'm that girl that this mission speaks about. I'm that girl that didn't know how to budget. I'm that girl that didn't know that it took discipline to save. I'm that girl that needed the Investing Girls mission. And I just want to say thank you, because you're sitting here in this room and you're watching because you care, because you believe in our mission. Thank you. I want to thank our supporters. Oh my goodness. We received such an immense response. This is my first event, by the way. I want to thank Fidelity, our presenting sponsor, year over year. They always come through. Thank you, Fidelity. Morgan Stanley, yes. They are our platinum sponsor this year. Thank you. Came all the way from Miami, too. So Miami folks are in the house. Our gold sponsors, Wellington, support us year over year. Putnam, and we had some new sponsors this year, MFS and SLC Management. Thank you so much. They came in at gold. Silver sponsors, thank you. Bronze sponsors, individuals. I would be up here forever if I named everyone. But we just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Also would like to thank our volunteers. We have many volunteers here today. Listen, we probably wouldn't be able to do our programs if you didn't help us. It would be very difficult. And so we say thank you so much for your time and for giving of your resources. Our IIG board, our CEE board, thanks for all that you do. Our chairs are here, Matt and Barry. Thank you so much for all that you do for us. They're very dedicated, and they just support us in every way. I want to thank Michelle Singletary. I thank you for your yes. Michelle didn't hesitate to say yes. And Michelle, thank you. You are so inspiring. I love you. I'm definitely going to stay connected and in touch. I want to thank our students. We have 3 schools represented in here today. We have Fenway High School. Y'all were phenomenal, by the way. We have Binka, raise your hand, Boston International Newcomers Academy. They're sitting at the Goldman Sachs table. We also have our student Dawn Tran from Milton Academy. She's sitting right here at Fidelity. And she's also an intern at Brown over the summer. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming. I want to say thank you to the IIG program team, Devon, Abby, thank you, Betsy. Thanks CEE staff, those who are helping us with the live stream. Thank you all so much. Our CEO, Nan Morrison, thank you, thank you, thank you. I think I covered everyone. If I didn't, just charge it to my mind and on my heart. But also James Flowers, these beautiful arrangements that are on your table, they made an in-kind donation. Please designate someone at the table to take a centerpiece with you. Michelle and I can't take them back to Maryland, so please take a centerpiece with you. I think that is all. This concludes our program. Have a beautiful morning. Again, thank you for joining us. Oh, and also I want to say that for the folks that are watching live stream, you should see in your chat a link to donate. So please, again, donate to the Investing Girls program. Have a beautiful morning. Stay safe, and we'll see you again next year.